time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Jimmy.
And the new year began dramatically in Miami. Demanding and dynamic Jimmy Johnson, twice a Super Bowl winner with the Dallas Cowboys, returning to Miami, replacing the winningest coach in NFL history, Don Shula. The Jimmy Johnson era begins today on a hot, humid southern Florida Sunday afternoon. Temperature over 100 degrees on the field. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the start of a new season with Phil Simms and Paul McGuire. And Jimmy Johnson brings to the NFL a collegiate spirit.
Yeah, he really does. And I think it's evident in the 5 running backs that are dressed for this ballgame. 3 of the running backs are rookies, and 2 of them are going to be starting. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Stanley Pritchett. And, you know, you talk about the atmosphere in this camp. We asked Dan Marino yesterday, Dan, what was this camp truly like? He said, did you see the movie Full Metal Jacket? That's it.
I have a feeling New England, it was the same, Phil Simms, because Bill Parcells, in talking with us last night, looked at Phil and said, Simms, it's going to be the way it used to be around here.
Oh, and that means for those players, that means he's going to go back to being the way he used to be, mean, ornery, and tough. And Bill Parcells is all about attitude. That's the reason he's been successful in this league. So far this preseason, his team has shown that attitude. And last year, many times he said to us, I have no flag bearers. In other words, leaders on the team. This year he has them on both sides of the ball.
So a matchup of coaches today. In the last 10 years, they represent 4 Super Bowl championships. Johnson and Parcells. First to our New York studios.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our studio here in New York. Let's quickly run through the scores of the early games today in the National Football League, beginning with the game in Baltimore. And the Ravens, they make it a winner today. 19-14 is the final score, despite 2 Billy Joe Hobart to Tim Brown touchdown passes. In Jacksonville, the Jaguars beating up on the Pittsburgh Steelers today, 24-9. The bad news for the Steelers, a serious knee injury suffered by linebacker Greg Lloyd. In Indianapolis, the Colts beat the Cardinals today, 20-13. Jim Harbaugh temporarily knocked out of the game in the first half with a bruised right hand, but he finds rookie receiver Marvin Harrison for a 35-yard touchdown pass. Harrison's first in the NFL, Harbaugh's second of the game. The Colts start their season with a win. The final was 20-13. In Houston, the Oilers trailing the Kansas City Chiefs in the final moments, 20-19. In Washington, the Eagles beat the Redskins for the 8th straight time, 17-14. In St. Louis, that game down to the final moments, and the Rams are leading the Cincinnati Bengals 23-16. Lawrence Phillips has scored 2 touchdowns for St. Louis today. In Minnesota, the Vikings lost Warren Moon to an ankle injury earlier. That game is tied at 10 in the 4th. And Carolina all over the Atlanta Falcons today, 26-6. We'll send you back to Miami, Denver, or San Diego for the kickoff right after this.
Welcome back to Miami. I'm Jim Gray. Well, a short time ago, I spoke to Jimmy Johnson, and he said that he really had very little to say to his team in his pregame speech. He said he emphasized 2 points, simply have fun and relax. He didn't want to have any more because he didn't want to clutter their minds on game day. But there have been several messages in the Dolphin locker room all week long. Up on the bulletin board Jimmy Johnson has assembled, there is one main message. Get to the Patriots' $6 million man, Drew Bledsoe. Dick?
All right, Jim Gray and Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells. They met 4 times in the NFC. Parcells won all 4 games. Giants against the Cowboys. Joe Nedney, the left-footed new kicker for Miami, sends it on its way. And this NFL season begins in Miami. Dave Meggett with the return. The former Giant breaks loose at the 30. Nedney gets a piece of him and drags him out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Meggett with a sterling return, 41 yards.
One of the reasons Jimmy Johnson kept Joe Nedney is he's supposed to kick that ball in the end zone. He didn't want to put his defense in tough position. And right there you can see the big hole for Dave Meggett. The Miami Dolphins probably expecting that ball to be kicked in the end zone. Maybe we're a little surprised.
Joe Parcells looks at Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe from Washington State in his 4th year. A critical season, says Parcells, about Bledsoe's performance. And before the snap movement on the forward wall, flags are down. Bowens and Gardner make the tackle as they sort out the penalty. Let's take a look at the New England Patriot offense.
Offside.
Referee today is Jerry Austin. Bruce Armstrong, the Pro Bowler, with Roberts, Wolovaugh, Cratch, and Lane, the forward wall. Bledsoe with Curtis Martin, who led the AFC in rushing last year as a rookie. Sam Gash is the blocker. Shawn Jefferson, the former Charger, at one wideout. Will Moore the other, and Ben Coates, the All-Pro tight end. Penalty marked off to the 47-yard line. Offside Miami. Bledsoe throws incomplete. His receiver had fallen down. Daniel Stubbs was in the backfield with a defensive play for Miami. Will Moore, the intended receiver. Armstrong, Gardner, he's the rookie from Baylor, the #1 pick. Tim Bowens and Daniel Stubbs, all #1 picks except for Stubbs. He was a second pick of the 49ers. Hollier, rookie Zach Thomas from Texas Tech in the middle. Chris Singleton, the backers. Buckley and Jackson are the corners. Veterans Oliver and Atkins at safety. 2nd down and 5. First carry for Curtis Martin, and he slips down at the 43-yard line, covered there by Terrell Buckley. Martin, who last year rushed for 1,487 yards.
You know, Phil talked about Dedney kicking off, and I want to just go back for a second, because Jimmy Johnson said to us, Dick, he said, we cannot afford to have anybody start at their 35-yard line and expect to beat anybody with this young football team.
That's the reason he traded Pete Stoyanovich, the popular kicker here for many years, to Kansas City. 3rd and short. Flag down. Burke was in motion, the tight end. And that usually means illegal motion against the offense.
Before the ball was snapped, false start. Number 83, 5 yards, and it's still 3rd down.
Oh, it'll be 3rd down and 6 for Bill Parcells, now in his 4th year in New England.
You know, Phil, it's got to drive a coach nuts, even a quarterback. I mean, here you are, you got 3rd and a little bit, and you got a wide receiver that goes in motion. I mean, that's crazy.
3 wide receivers, and Bledsoe out of the shotgun. That's been added to the New England offense this year. Good protection. He throws complete at the 38-yard line as Ben Coates, the tight end, spears it, and a 1st down New England. As we welcome those of you who have seen the Pittsburgh Steelers and Jacksonville, and the Jaguars with a 24-9 win against the defending AFC champions. Here in Miami, the last play is this from the opening kickoff. The New England Patriots getting a 3rd and 6 completion. Bledsoe to Ben Coates. 11 yards in the play. 1st down at the Miami 37. Flag down. It appeared the Dolphins offside. Slipping in the backfield is Curtis Martin as Darrell Gardner in on the play.
Dick, 2 things that I saw on that play right there. One, Drew Bledsoe drawing him off sides. He's done that all preseason. Something they must have worked on. His snap count has been excellent.
Offside on the defense. The nose tackle. 5 yards. Repeat, 1st down.
Is that Bowens, number 95?
Yes, it is. And also the other thing, watch him right here. You watch Drew Bledsoe. See him flinch right there? Tim Bowens heard the voice real hard, and he jumps off sides. But the other 4 plays so far, and I've seen 3 players slip down. The field is hard, but the top surface is wet.
1st and 5. It was Gardner who actually leaned offside. This is Curtis Martin. He gets very little trying to slash off the left side. Zach Thomas in on the tackle.
You know, Jimmy Johnson said to this team, Dick, let's have fun. I mean, all the nervousness, I mean, all the heat is on me. I'm the new guy here on the block, not you guys. Go out and have some fun. These guys are making an awful lot of mental mistakes. But again, when you start at the beginning about the collegiate atmosphere, there are a lot of new faces on this football team.
23 new members of this Miami team that worked with Don Shula last year. No gain for Martin, 2nd and 5, and Martin greeted rudely by 4 Dolphins, led by Louis Oliver.
Oh, you talk about Louis Oliver reading the play and filling the hole. And this is what safeties are supposed to do. Number 25 is Louis Oliver. Now watch on the bottom of your screen. You're going to see him come into play. Martin's right there, but Oliver just beats everybody. There's nobody there to block him, and he hits him for a loss, actually, of a yard.
3rd down, call it 5. Oliver, the veteran from Florida. Bledsoe from the shotgun. Intercepted by Oliver. He has a clear path. Bledsoe to beat. And he's dragged down at the 10-yard line. Oh, he gets through for a touchdown. Shawn Hill on the lateral from Oliver. Oh my, we talked about a collegiate play. The interception by Oliver, and then being caught from behind off to Shawn Hill for the score. Of the 70 to Oliver, the final 10 to Shawn Hill. Those aren't boos. That's Lou for Lou. Oliver. Nedney's try for point on John Kidd's hold, and the Dolphins strike on the interception for a touchdown and lead 7-0.
Louis Oliver standing back there, nobody to cover. All he does is watch Drew Bledsoe. He looks left all the way, reads it, steps in front of the receiver. Easy interception. Big mistake by Drew Bledsoe.
So the Dolphins strike on Louis Oliver's interception. Dave Meggett making the tackle, forced a fumble. It took a Dolphin bounce into the arms of Shawn Hill, who completed the 70-yard score. Nedney to kick it off. Meggett and Troy Brown deep for New England. High kick to Brown at the 2. Marshall University star crosses the 20, dumped at the 23. Let's go back to the Miami scoring interception.
Let's see how. Here's Louis Oliver in the back. He has this receiver in the slot. When he goes inside, he becomes free, has nobody to cover. Now he reads the quarterback's eyes. He makes the great break on it and gets the easy interception.
All right, now hold it right here. Right in here is Dave Meggett. Now, when you see watch what he does. He's the guy that causes the fumble. 8 years in the league, 30 years old, returning kickoffs, and a third down player. But look what he does. You talk about hustle. There's the fumble that Hill has to be in a position to pick it up to go for a touchdown. That's just truly great hustle.
Almost appeared to be a lateral from this angle, but a fumble for score. Bledsoe almost intercepted again. Terrell Buckley, who had 3 picks in the preseason, almost back-to-back thefts by the Miami defense.
2 passing plays so far, Terrell Buckley's side, and Jimmy Johnson told us this guy's a gambler, and both times he's tried for the interception. Right there, he just drops the pass.
That was a perfect pass to Terrell.
Buckley much maligned by Johnson himself when Johnson was a television commentator, but they've made amends, and Buckley has had a great summer. 2nd and 10. Bledsoe goes long for Shawn Jefferson. Incomplete at the 22. Calvin Jackson on the coverage along with Terrell Buckley. Terrell Buckley, and we mentioned Johnson's comment about his cornerback when Johnson was in the commentator's seat. The best place for him to hide is on the bench, he said at the time. He said, oh, that was just TV talk, I told him.
Yeah, he passed the buck. He said, we asked him, did you take credit for it? He said, no, I said someone else. I meant something different by that. I didn't know.
3rd down and 10. Bledsoe flushed out of the pocket. Now he throws for Meggett. Almost intercepted again. Gene Atkins got a hand on it.
I'll tell you what old Zach Thomas has learned. Zach Thomas has learned a little holding because he grabbed the hold of Meggett downfield. Here's the pressure by Bowens on Drew Bledsoe. Should have never thrown the ball. But downfield, number 54, Zach Thomas. You'll see him in the play right there. He was holding Meggett coming downfield. You learn as a rookie, you know.
So Bledsoe 1 for 6 off the top of the game. 1 interception for a touchdown. Tom Tupa acquired as a free agent from Arizona. O.J. McDuffie back at the Miami 27. Beautiful high kick. McDuffie fair catch at the 28. Timeout. 10:23 remaining in the opening quarter. Miami by 7. Welcome back to Miami, especially those of you who have watched the Kansas City Chiefs eke out a 2019 win over the Houston Oilers. Here, Miami has scored on a pass interception and fumble. Louis Oliver and Shawn Hill combining on a 70-yard score with the interception, picking off Drew Bledsoe. Dan Marino and the Miami offense on the field for the first time in the game. A pair of rookie running backs behind Marino, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the third-round pick from UCLA, gets the call, a pickup of 4. Here is the offensive line for Miami. Webb, the Pro Bowler, and Sims, also a Pro Bowler. Ruddy, Gray, and James Brown acquired free agent from the Jets. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, UCLA. Stanley Pritchett, a rookie from South Carolina. First time they've ever started a season. 2 rookies in the 30 years in Miami. Second down 6. Jabbar twisted down at the 33, and a flag goes down. A late hit, apparently. Ricky Reynolds made the contact, and then Mike Jones also in on the play, perhaps late.
Mike Jones comes in late and just throws a shoulder.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 96 of the defense. 15 yards, first down.
That's a good call, Phil. I mean, the guy is down. You see him down, and you can avoid it. That's why they call the play. Now watch Jones. Here he comes in. The man is down, and now you hit him with a shoulder. He could have avoided it. That's why they threw the flag. It's an excellent call.
Bill Parcells says, I don't want a dumb team, and so far here in the first quarter, we've seen a couple dumb plays.
We've seen some dumbness.
Some dumbness.
15 yards out to the 48-yard line. The coaches in all sport will put up with a certain amount of physical errors, but mental errors are unforgivable. You bet. First down at the 48 for Marino, yet to throw a pass. Here he goes. Ball play action complete to McDuffie, and McDuffie a first down at the 39-yard line. Ty Law made the tackle, 14 yards on the play.
Well, the New England defense believes their defensive backs are better cover guys. So right here is a blitz against the Miami offense. You can see Ty Law trying to cover O.J. McDuffie coming across the field. Tough assignment right there.
You know, the thing about it is, and Marino told us, and it's been in the newspaper, my go-to guy is going to be O.J. McDuffie. I mean, there are no secrets to who he's going to look at first.
Yeah, that the relationship developed late last season. McDuffie had 11 catches in the playoffs. Showing the kind of explosive start that gained him more than 1,400 yards at UCLA last year. 12 on that play.
What a great block by Pritchett, the rookie. Now, watch this block right in the center of the screen. There's Pritchett, comes down, makes the block, and they're off and running. I mean, that's outstanding. That's Wheeler. Mark Wheeler, number 97, was there, but Pritchett just took him out.
Leading 7-0. Miami a first down at the Patriot 26-yard line. Pritchett is 232 pounds. 4th-round pick from South Carolina. Jabbar to the 23-yard line. A chance now to introduce the men in blue on defense. The Patriots line up this way. 4-3 defense. First time in 22 years they've not been in a 3-4. Devin Wyman is the 300-pound rookie from Kentucky State. Willie McGinnis had 11 sacks last year. Sabb for the injured Slade. Johnson and Brown. Brown, the former Buffalo Bill. The backers. Law and Reynolds at the corners. Terry Ray, and Willie Clay. Clay had 8 interceptions at Detroit last year, picked up as a free agent. You saw Bill Belichick, the former Cleveland Browns head coach, who has rejoined Bill Parcells. Second down play for Marino out of the backfield, and it's Stanley Pritchett twisted down at the 20, shy of a first down. Dwayne Sabb made the tackle. Well, on this first day of the NFL regular season, you look at the other scores, and the Baltimore Ravens open with a win against the Oakland Raiders. Surprise in Jacksonville.
Maybe there'll be a quarterback change in Pittsburgh.
Indianapolis came within a play of going to the Super Bowl. They start the new year with a win. Jarris McPhail, another rookie. He's from East Carolina and maybe the fastest player on the Miami team. Number 32 replaces Abdul-Jabbar as Marino, 3rd down and 4. Gets it to McPhail, and he's denied the first down at the 17-yard line, a yard short it would appear, as Willie McGinnis and Mike Jones make the stop. On comes the field goal unit.
Well, so far 7 offensive plays. I think that's 5 runs, and you better believe the Miami Dolphins are going to commit to this running game. And Friday I got a chance to watch their practice, what I could see. Usually on Fridays you go out there and it's almost all passing, trying to get it choreographed and ready. The Miami Dolphins, it was almost all running on Friday's practice. That's a big surprise. Nobody in the league does that on Friday afternoons.
35-yard attempt. Kidd holding for Nedney, the new field goal kicker for Miami, and Nedney drills it. 10-0 Dolphins. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Welcome back. 10-0 Miami. Drew Bledsoe told us yesterday, he said it was a long off season, waiting to erase the bad memories of a definite off year for him. He waits another turn. 1 for 6 today. High kick by Nedney, taken by Megan. Megan, 7 returns for touchdowns in his career, takes it to the 26-yard line. Here comes Drew Bledsoe.
Well, Drew Bledsoe had a tough start so far today. He's going to have to rely on some of the things he learned this offseason. Footwork, learning to throw over the top of defenders, moving his feet when there's pressure around him in the pocket, and maybe all this training this past offseason will come and play right here, because as a quarterback, you get off to a bad start. Sometimes it's hard to overcome that, and this is going to be a tough situation for him to overcome.
But Dick, yesterday, he looked at us with a whole lot of confidence. We talked to him last year. He was kind of down, but he looked pretty good yesterday. That was yesterday.
Hands off to Curtis Martin. Misdirection, and Martin trying to get outside. Gets to the 33-yard line before Zach Thomas can make the tackle. Let's go to New York.
All right, Dick, at Mile High Stadium in Denver, the Broncos get on the board first against the New York Jets. John Elway to his favorite target, Shannon Sharpe, from 13 yards out. Another field goal makes it a 10-0 Denver lead over the Jets. That is in the first quarter, Dick.
Wasting no time against the Jets. Thank you, Greg. Here's 2nd down and 4. Martin to the 36-yard line before Gardner, the rookie, and Thomas, another rookie in that Miami defense, can collaborate on the stop. Zach Thomas, number 54. He was picked in the 5th round. This is his 23rd birthday today. He said, I've been playing linebacker since the 3rd grade in White Deer, Texas.
Yeah, I tell you, we asked him who were his heroes at linebacker, and of course he said Sam Mills and Mike Singletary. 2 other
little guys.
Yeah, little guys.
Well, he's not real little. Look at the neck on this guy.
But he's only 5'11", and usually that you get demerits for that height in the NFL.
Well, he did. That's why he was chosen in the later rounds in the draft. But the one thing everybody said about him coming out of the college and going into the draft, he makes a lot of plays, but it's amazing how you get knocked down in this league because you don't hit that certain height or weight.
I told Bledsoe yesterday, I said, if he knocks down one of your passes, we're going to replay it a half a dozen times.
Right.
First down for the Patriots on the measurement. And Coates lined up outside and then brought in motion as they try to free him up, and Bledsoe swallowed at the 30, and Zach Thomas was in on the tackle. Daryl Gardner, the rookie, got a piece of him as well.
Zach Thomas.
Well, Zach Thomas, the one thing he has is just great instincts, knows how to get to where the ball is, and you see him working on the center, gets around Dave Wohlabaugh, keeps hustling, and gets to the quarterback.
That's the key to this whole thing. Watch his legs. His legs never stop moving. He's moving around Wohlabaugh. He gets knocked off his feet a little bit, but he gets right back in and makes the play.
Well, 2nd down and 17. Short screen to Megan, and Megan to the 37-yard line where Louis Oliver and Zach Thomas make the tackle. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
Whoops.
All right, Dick. Well, it's very hot down here on the field, as you pointed out, 104 degrees plus 40% humidity. Well, the Dolphin players have all been ordered on defense by Kevin O'Neill, their trainer, and their coaching staff. You must have 2 glasses of water every time you come off the field. It's not an option. We don't want any dehydration. Dick?
All right, Jim. It is white hot in the sun. 3rd down, 7. Bledsoe goes to the gun. Incomplete. Well covered with Shawn Jefferson. A flag. A late flag is thrown.
There's going to be some pass interference here.
Extra defensive backs in for Jimmy Johnson, and he said that ball was uncatchable.
I think it's J.B. Brown was the guy that they called, number 37.
He's not waving to a tall guy. He just said,
No, that's right. He's not talking about his hair either right here, but
I want to be 6'8".
But you know what? It wasn't, you know, it should be a penalty. Drew Bledsoe threw the ball high because the receiver was being held, and he just kind of threw it away.
Defensive pass interference, number 37. Automatic first down.
J.B. Brown, who lost his cornerback starting job to Calvin Jackson.
He's a 6th defensive back. Now watch him. I mean, right there is his defense. That's actually holding right there.
Well, he has his hands 10 on the receiver, 10 yards down the field, and that is a definite penalty.
Remember, 5 yards. After 5, you can't.
And we welcome those of you who have watched the Bengals and the St. Louis Rams. Rams winning 26-16. Dick Enberg, Paul McGuire, Phil Simms in Miami. Ben Coates, who rarely drops a ball, has that one go off his chest. Incomplete. The Miami Dolphins lead here 10-0 on a striking interception touchdown early as Louis Oliver and Sean Hill combined on a 70-yard play.
Dick, you're a little low. Watch when this ball hits him in the head. Doink.
Yeah, but also,
that's what you call looking it in, isn't it,
But
Phil?
watch him right here. Just at the last second, he's turning his head to look for where the defensive back is coming towards him.
Almost stuck it in his ear.
Yeah, that's a sin as a receiver.
Dolphins got their other points on a 34-yard field goal by Nedney. Patriots 2nd down and 10. Play action. Bledsoe fires to Shawn Jefferson. Jefferson, who played the last several years with the San Diego Chargers, near a first down at the Miami 42.
Well, it's a good thing you have a nice, strong arm as a quarterback. And right here, Drew Bledsoe, Shawn Jefferson does a good job of driving the defensive back, Calvin Jackson, off, and comes back and goes towards the football.
Jackson getting up slowly. 2nd-year corner from Auburn.
You know, we were watching these guys warm up, so you look down and the one thing you said before this game even started, and of course during the week, was how small the corners are in Miami. And when you got a guy like Shawn Jefferson, I mean, you got to send these guys downfield.
But the one thing we've seen so far is how aggressive they are at attacking the football and the receiver.
Jackson making the tackle on Jefferson and gets twisted underneath on the play. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Calvin Jackson able to leave the field under his own power. This is Curtis Martin on the first down. And Martin bumped out of bounds by J.B. Brown, who has replaced Jackson at the right corner. Zach Thomas also in on the play as they look at Calvin Jackson.
Yeah, but you know, he walked off the field. But watch, you could tell the pain. Watch when they see him, they just turned his knee a little bit and he jumped. But the good news is he did walk off the field. They're looking at it. J.B. Brown will take over.
Jackson caught the eye of new coach Jimmy Johnson and outplayed J.B. Brown in the preseason. 2nd down and 7 for Bledsoe and the Patriots. They trail 10-0. Good protection. Dumps it off to Shawn Jefferson and short yardage on the play. A gain of about 3.5. Chris Singleton led the charge. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Dick, at San Diego, the Chargers have taken the lead. Stan Humphries from 2 yards out finds Tony Martin after a little bit of a scramble, all alone in the end zone with the extra point. The Chargers in the lead over the Seahawks, 7-0 in the first. Dick?
All right, Greg. Here and hot and fortunately not too humid. 40% humidity Miami. The temperature well over 100 degrees down on the field. 3rd and 4. Dolphins were offside. Were they drawn? Flags fly. And the signal is against Miami. Daniel Stubbs appeared to be the man who jumped first, and that would give New England a first down.
I think Stubbs, first of all, lined up offside. Then he got himself in that.
96 of the defense.
See, as long as he doesn't touch anybody, they will allow the play to go. You know, you'll see him on the bottom here, Stubbs. You see now he's across the line. He's gone. Stubbs is there. They also had some movement by Gardner.
Yeah, Daryl Gardner moved. That's what made Stubbs jump, I think. He saw his teammate move, so he figures, well, I need a good jump right here to get to the quarterback.
Stubbs, one of many former Miami Hurricanes who linked to Jimmy Johnson's collegiate days that are now a member of the Dolphins. Bledsoe wide open on the sidelines to Jefferson. A good move by Jefferson. And then he's hammered at the 16. Another first down for New England. 15 on the play.
Did you see what Jefferson did to J.B. Brown? I mean, he just left him, Phil.
Well, that's called respect. And Shawn Jefferson is the speediest wide receivers the New England Patriots have, and right there just a good move up the field. And this is what I like. He catches it and then turns it back up inside and gets that extra yardage.
Lewis Oliver with a tackle. First down. They mark progress to the 15-yard line. Final seconds of the opening quarter. Dolphins lead 10-0. Deepest penetration by the Patriots at the Miami 15. Curtis Martin shreds a couple of tackles, gains about 3 before Dwight Hollier can bring him down. Just 8 seconds remaining in this opening quarter, and this Miami crowd brought to its feet on a 70-yard interception for a touchdown. Dolphins lead 10-0.
If you're a big man and you have to run down the field today, look at Ben Coates, number 87, running down there. It is hot on that field, and he is trying to get air any way he can get it. And he's walked off the field a couple times. And Paul,
that's what you call suck and win, man. This guy is tired.
They say 40% humidity, but I was on the field before the game, and it feels like a lot more.
10-0 Miami. We open the second quarter. Second down and 6 for Bledsoe and the Patriots. The throw incomplete. Hassan Graham tried for the one-handed catch, couldn't pull it in, and he was open. Red zone. Bill Parcells said this is where we must improve. Plenty of opportunities last year. They had 62 possessions inside the 20, came away with only 24 touchdowns, but plenty of improvement, Phil, in the preseason.
Well, really, I think to be a great red zone team, you must be able to get inside the 20, throw it in the end zone, or run it in there. Good running teams are always good in the red zone.
Third down and 6. Shotgun Bledsoe underneath to Coates. He has the catch at the 5. It's going to be very close.
No, he's going to be about a half a yard short. And you are 10-0. Now you know Parcells. What are you going to do? You're in this position right now.
He's going for it. There's no doubt. I mean, you just don't get these many situations where you got a chance to get 7 points. You have to go for it.
See, I would even call it you could call for a measurement just to give these guys, give these guys a break.
There was another good example. Ben Coates. Paul, he's running across that field. He looks like you. That's how slow he's running.
Say that again.
It gives us a feeling, doesn't it? We'll be right back.
On NBC is brought to you by the all-new Eclipse Spider convertible. It's fun you can depend on from Mitsubishi. By Beck's, taste German beer at its finest. Beck's, America's favorite German beer. And by True Value, the official hardware store of the NFL.
Welcome back. Bill Parcells' team has driven from its own 26. This is the 13th play of the drive. 4th and less than a yard at the 5-yard line.
What do you call? Where are you going? Where are you going?
Curtis Martin's going to follow Sam Gash over the right side here.
Left side, and Martin is stuffed. Breaks the tackle, gets outside, and has the first down. What an effort by Martin. Gene Atkins had a piece of the jersey, but Martin appeared to be stuffed for a 2-yard loss, and what an effort.
This is just a great continuous effort, and again, keeping your feet moving. Look at Martin inside, but he keeps his feet moving. He backs out, and here's where his speed comes into play. He gets to the outside, he sees that marker, and that's all he really needs because he knows he has to have a first down.
I'm not a very good lip reader.
I know. You got them going to right. They went to the left.
I had the right play, just the wrong side.
We'll practice on that this next week. First and goal, Patriots, trailing 10-0. Martin up the middle. And not much there. Maybe a half yard as Zach Thomas plugged the hole with help from rookie Shane Burton.
Now, Jimmy Johnson, Phil, talked about this guy and says he gets places. Sometimes he misses a tackle, but take a look at him here. He jumps up in the air. There's no room there, so he goes back outside. He sees Martin coming in, so he goes over there and makes the tackle. Easy.
Tasmanian devil. He's everywhere.
Well, the Dolphins in their glory years in the 70s had a pretty good linebacker that wasn't too tall. Nick Bonacati. Second and goal. Martin again. Down at the 2-yard line.
Oh, Zach Thomas again, Phil. I mean, this is outstanding play.
Well, his greatest attribute, no question, is his speed, and like we said, his instincts. And look at him right there, just flying to the outside. Curtis Martin looked like his legs buckled a little just before the end, but Zach Thomas.
He was the 95 Southwest Conference Defensive Player of the Year, only 5'11", 230 pounds. Playing on his 23rd birthday in his first NFL game, and he has been superb. Still trailing 10-0, third and goal. Had to throw it away. Steve Entman was chasing him out of bounds.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You know, Parcells talked about running the ball. Jimmy Johnson talked about running the ball. And that's got to be very disappointing for Bill Parcells. You get down there inside the 5-yard line with 4 fresh downs, and you can't run it in twice, and then you have to go to throw, and then still can't make the play.
Here's the man who replaced Matt Barr as the place kicker for the Patriots. Adam Vinatieri from South Dakota State, a rookie. Played in the WLAF at Amsterdam earlier this year. 20-yard attempt. Not much more than an extra point. Tupa holds. And a flag down. That's going to nullify the play, apparently. Might have been a false start, New England.
For the snap, ball start, number 68. 5 yards. Still 4th down.
That's Max Lane. Nothing's going well.
Max Lane, the right tackle, up to the top of your screen, and I didn't see it.
No, he was actually, they moved him over to the left-hand side. So he normally plays right tackle, but he's on the left-hand side here on the field goal and extra point team.
25-yard attempt by Vinatieri, and the Patriots are on the board. A long 16-play drive. Miami leads it 10-3. From the West, and that isn't helping the comfort level. The heat index is well over 100. Testimony has been coached. They brought in the heavy equipment now. Try to cool the big guy down.
You throw a big bag of ice on him.
He's been out there a lot. The offense for New England, 13.5 minutes. And Dan Marino and Miami, although they lead 10-3, not much of a chance. Jarris McPhail decides to take it out and gets it back just to the 20-yard line. In 3 weeks on NBC, Saturday nights, they're going to get a whole new look and feel. Dark Skies is coming, and we've all heard the reports about life on Mars. Well, could it be that alien life has been on Earth for a long time? The battle is about to begin. Dark Skies coming to NBC Saturday in 3 weeks.
We have been here for a long time.
I know. You should get some guest shots on that show, Paul.
I really should.
10-3 Miami. The difference, the interception and fumble return for touchdown by the Dolphins 70 yards early. Marino sends McDuffie in motion. Gives off to Abdul-Jabbar. A gain of 2. It's 10-3 here in South Florida. Let's check elsewhere. Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, in Denver, John Elway supplying his own highlight reel for the season already. 191st career game. He ties a franchise record. This is his second touchdown pass of the day. A bullet to Ed McCaffrey, 39 yards. The Broncos lead the Jets 14-0. That's the second quarter score, Dick.
All right, and Phil Simms, he still can wing it, can't he?
He is still the best at moving in that pocket and throwing it downfield.
Second down and 8 for the Dolphins. Dolphins at their 22. Marino, that quick trigger to Byers. Byers now playing tight end in the Jimmy Johnson offense. First down and 129 consecutive games with a reception for Keith Byers.
And the streak is still alive.
Well, Keith Byers moved to tight end, and really that shouldn't be a problem for him because he was known as a receiver out of the backfield, and Jimmy Johnson doesn't expect his tight ends to be great run blockers.
So Byers now 129 straight games, 5th best all time. Art Monk, the career record holder, and Steve Largent, Jerry Rice. 16 yards on the play.
You know, the one thing about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, now when I saw Jimmy Johnson in Chicago 3 weeks ago, he said, I don't know what this guy's going to do. He makes a great run and he gets hurt. He goes and sits on the sideline. Even Marino, Dick looked at us yesterday and said, you know, look at this guy. We don't know exactly what he can do, but he is a great runner. Here's an example of why Jimmy Johnson loves this guy, because he is a player.
He's averaged 6 yards a carry today, 34 yards on 6 attempts. First down at midfield. Behind the block. Richards. Jabbar again, 9 more yards.
Well, we were also told by the Jimmy Johnson yesterday, they're going to run on that left side. They're going to test Willie McGinnis against Richmond Webb. There's such a big weight difference right there. And, of course, there's other all-pro linemen, Keith Sims, and they're having success on that left side of the offensive line.
Well, Jimmy said to us, he said, look, if we can't run against a 255-pound defensive end and a rookie tackle, then there's something wrong with our football team.
And look at the difference in the weights, 255 to 303. I don't care how strong you are, 255. That weight is tough to move around.
2nd and short, and Jabbar trips as he gets to the line of scrimmage. He'll be just shy of a first down. It would be up here, just outside the 40.
You know, Jimmy has really been kind to us because, you know, Friday he doesn't allow anyone in, Dick, to training camp and take a practice session. They let Phil in. Boy, he gave you a great look, didn't he?
Oh, it was wonderful. He was talking to us before practice, and they take off and they have practice. They go to the far left corner of the whole complex. They go the other way. They got people lined up behind them. And Jimmy comes running off the field after practice. He goes, hey, didn't you like that practice, Phil? Yeah, sure. I saw a lot. I saw the rear ends of a lot of big players.
Jabbar carrying 4 of the 5 times in this series. Now 3rd and short, and Marino, running out of time, will spend his first timeout. 8 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the first half. Miami by 7.
I think Marino's animated. Watch this, folks. And I don't know, did he see something? He couldn't hear them. We know that part. But did he see something? Look at his eyes.
Oh, yeah. I think they had a pass play call, and he knew he had it. And the clock ran down on me, so he had to call a timeout.
Well, he was salivating. He thought he had something big sitting there, but no time in which to execute. So it's 3rd and about a half yard. Jabbar met brutally for a loss. Lost about a half yard. Good defensive surge by the Patriots, and it was led by number 97, Mark Wheeler, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, came over to Bill Parcells, unrestricted free agent.
This surprises me because Jimmy Johnson told us we're going to go to Webb's side. We're going to go left, Webb's and Sims, because of the guys they have over there, and they tried to go right.
But that was a check play. Dan Marino came up to the line of scrimmage, and what defense they were in determined where he was going to run the football.
So they go for it on 4th and 2.
I'm surprised here, too.
Delay of game against Marino. Couldn't quite beat the clock.
Wow.
Now it'll be 4th and 7, and the punting team comes on.
Delay of game on the offense, 5 yards. It's still 4th down.
They were going for it. He was going to throw the quick hitch out here to Scott Miller, and Scott Miller was open. And anytime that clock runs down where it's a delay of game, it's always the fault of the quarterbacks. He's responsible for watching it and controlling the football game.
I'll tell you what he was looking at. Pritchett went out, and no one went out to cover him.
They make it back as John Kidd will punt for the first time. Delivers from his own 42. A wobbler. Shaggett, fair catch at the 13-yard line. And that gives us a chance to update the action in the NFL. We go to New York.
All right, Dick, earlier in the day, defending AFC champion Pittsburgh lost to Jacksonville 24-9. The news on five-time Pro Bowl linebacker Greg Lloyd is not good. He suffered a torn patella tendon in his left knee. He is out for the year. Devastating news for the Steelers, who lost Rod Woodson for virtually the entire year last season when he suffered a knee injury on opening day. Let's go back to Dick Enberg, Phil Simms, Paul McGuire in Miami.
All right, Greg, and one of the premier defensive players in the entire league out for the year.
Dick, he's half of their defense. I mean, he's half of it. This guy does everything.
Well, he does. He just sits the emotional edge that team has. It's all set by Greg Lloyd.
And they lost Kevin Green to free agency. Meanwhile, Dave Meggett giving Curtis Martin some relief out to the 15-yard line, a gain of yard and a half. It'll be second down and a short 9. Trace Armstrong, Darrell Gardner, and Dwight Hollier on the tackle.
Well, because of the heat, Bill Parcells did tell us yesterday that he was going to have to put Dave Meggett in here and give him a few series so Curtis Martin can keep his legs fresh.
Shawn Jefferson to the left, Will Moore to the right. Second down and long. 10-3, Miami leads it. Bledsoe to the sidelines to Jefferson, who spins away from J.B. Brown. Fumbles the ball, and Miami recovers. It's Louis Oliver again.
You see Shawn Jefferson to the outside, catching it, trying to turn it back inside. He's done it earlier in the game. He's going down.
He just fumbles the ball, Phil. It wasn't knocked out. He drops it.
He doesn't have the tip of the ball on his fingers, Paul. That's what they teach you right away. Take that ball, secure your fingertips over one end, stick the other end up into your body. Look how he's carrying it, like a loaf of bread. And that's, and J.B. Brown does hit it with his hand. That's what knocks it out.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you just try to do something more than you're capable of doing.
Big break Dolphins. They lead 10-3, take over at the 25. Caught in the backfield is Abdul-Jabbar. A big loss. Mark Wheeler, 97, and Willie McGinnis make the play.
You know, it tells me when you have a pretty good team, you're going to see Mark Wheeler make a play here. But when the offense gives the ball up and the defense gets back and they get fired up, look at Wheeler. He just goes through and makes the play in the backfield. He went right through Tim Ruddy, never had a chance.
Well, Tim Ruddy didn't have a chance right there. That's just a bad blocking assignment. He's to the right, and you're asking Tim Ruddy to get around and stop him when the play is going the right. Too tough of a job.
Loss of 7. Second and 17 for Marino with Byers, the tight end, in motion. Marino skips away from trouble and throws. Was it intercepted or trapped? They're calling it an interception. This is Terry Ray. And Ray, who played at Oklahoma, goes all the way to the Miami 47-yard line.
I just said it tells you a good football team when the defense responds after the offense gives up. You're down by 7, and yet they come back defensively.
That's the difference in this. Hopefully the difference Bill Parcells thinks in this team this year. Defense has some personality. Terry Ray, excellent job of reading a quarterback's eyes. Breaks on the ball as Dan Marino's throwing it, and then does an excellent job of getting up and getting yards after the interception.
Did you see what he did, though, Dick? He got his knees under the ball so the ball wouldn't hit the ground.
And when you're a quarterback and you throw an interception in this league, you better pay attention, because those defensive linemen search out the quarterback.
43-yard return by Ray. Trailing 10-3. Bledsoe goes to work. It's Jefferson, same pattern. Brown can't tackle him, but others. Oh, he fumbles again. Recovered by Oliver. No, it's Tim Bowens. 95.
Oh, that is.
I'm telling you.
That is unexcusable, really, to take a catch like that and keep breaking across the field. And Coach Parcells can't believe it either.
You know the worst part about it? He has the first down if he turns to his right. But no, he comes back inside again. You already fumbled once, and now that was Entman just nailed him and knocked the ball out.
When you go back inside, you got to expect pursuit from the defense. You're running into all the bodies.
Shawn Jefferson, 2 plays, coughs it up twice.
Marino, look at this. He was on the phone talking upstairs. They got the ball back.
Oh. I'll tell you what, as a quarterback, you really never lose sight of what's happening on the field. You're watching every play, hoping for something good.
Well, Miami leading 10-3, gets the ball back at their 39-yard line. one tackle and fights his way to the 47-yard line. A gain of 8.
Dick, that was Devin Wyman. I mean, he's in the backfield, should make the tackle. Number 72. I mean, he is there to make the play, but watch Abdul-Jabbar, the strength of him. Wyman, 72, is there. He's got his arms around him. Abdul-Jabbar just throws him away and goes up in the hole, picks up 9 yards.
Jimmy Johnson says Abdul-Jabbar, he can find that crease better than any running back we have, and as Nate Newton once told us, he knows how to run to daylight.
2nd and 1. Jabbar again. Finds daylight. Hit hard, but not until he picks up a first down at the 44. Terry Ray made the stop.
And that was a crease right there. He had a little hole right there, and he hits it full speed ahead. Hits the only spot in that offensive line where he has a chance to get positive yards. Watch right there. Little hole, squeezes right through it, full speed. Excellent job of running.
Yeah, a little hole, but how about Pritchett? I mean,
yes,
Pritchett is blocking. Right. This young man can block.
Changed his name from Sharman Shah a year ago. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gets a breather. 52 yards for him. Bernie Harmley, the ball straight, and he shoots up the middle. Another first down. Jimmy Johnson proclaimed early, we're going to run the ball.
Do you believe him now? I mean, it's hard to believe we're watching the Miami Dolphins, because this is an excellent job of staying with the run, keeping after the defenders, and the running backs are doing an excellent job of running to the hose full speed and getting positive yards.
But see, the knock on this offensive line at the beginning of the year is, how are you going to run when you've got Marino back there and all you've ever really done is pass block? Well, they're proving today that they can also run block.
Harley again after 17 on the last carry. He's knocked down after a 2-yard gain as he reaches the 25.
Paul, did you see him? Pritchett just, I mean, he nails Wheeler. Mark Wheeler, number 97. It really is an easy block, but he comes down the line of scrimmage. We're talking about this young guy. One of the reasons, watch 36 here, folks. Look at this block. Boom. You're out of there.
And what you're going to see, New England's going to have to get a safety involved up there. And Dan Marino and Jimmy Johnson said once they got to get up there to help against that running game, we're going to go big outside.
Out rushing New England almost 3-1. On 2nd and 8. And the catch by Scott Miller, who has started his first game with the Dolphins, now in his 6th year here in Miami.
Scott Miller, the sure-handed receiver for the Miami Dolphins. Ty Law, the defensive back, does an excellent job of reading the quick steps by Dan Marino, makes the break, but Dan Marino doesn't let the ball hang in the air too long.
Now, no wonder. You know what? See how heavy he looks there? That's what television does to me.
Yeah, that's right.
First down for the Dolphins, leading 10-3. The toss to Parmalee. Breaks one tackle. Missed tackle by McGinnis, who had it. As we approach the 2-minute warning here in South Florida, the Miami Dolphins leading the New England Patriots by 7 and looking for more. With Paul McGuire and Phil Simms, Dick Enberg, welcome back to Miami, where Jimmy Johnson's Dolphins have been very impressive in this first half. The score is 10-3. Miami has the ball at the 12-yard line of New England, where it's 2nd down and 6.
And Dick, I believe, and Paul, we talk about it all the time, running is an attitude. Jimmy has brought that attitude to the Dolphins, and I'm surprised they're having this much success, but they're going to continue to run this ball hard all year long.
Parmalee, the running back, but Marino fades the throw underneath and incomplete, almost picked off. Stanley Pritchett, the fullback, was the intended receiver, and Ted Johnson, Patriots middle linebacker, had a hand on it.
You know, Dick, we talk so much about the running game and how both of these guys would like to run, but this is the reflection of this is going to be later on in the season. This is when they're really going to need it. When they play in cold weather areas, in the rain, when you have to run the football, the Miami Dolphins have not been able to do that, and that's what he wants to establish.
Paul, that, and it preserves your defense. That's the biggest thing, and it teaches your team. You practice a run, you become tougher because of that.
Dolphins go to 4 wide out with Jarris McPhail with Marino. McDuffie is the man he likes to go to. He looks for McDuffie, but he can't get it off. Finally throws it, finds McDuffie, and a first down at the 5. What an effort by Dan Marino.
You think he isn't tough, I'm telling you what, these guys are draped all over him, and he knows where everyone is on the field. He was going to go to McDuffie anyway. That was the first guy he was going to throw to, was O.J. McDuffie. Now watch him. He gets caught up inside, but watch Marino. He steps up. He can't get it to him. He brings it down, and then he just flicks it.
Whoops.
Whoops. You're not allowed to do that.
Well, that was accidental, right? But that's an excellent job of Dan Marino. Just throw from any angle, just flicks it with his wrist.
First and goal at the 5. Jabbar sticks his nose off tackle and picks up a couple of yards. Well, we've talked about it through the years. Marino now in his 14th season with the quickest release. Once he decides to go with a pass, can deliver faster than anyone perhaps in the history of the game, and that time from the most awkward of positions.
I think Willie Clay said it best yesterday. You really have to play receivers and not the ball, because he throws it so quick and hard. You can't react to it.
Second and goal at the 3. Said we'll run. They have. And Marino says Abdul-Jabbar's been the workhorse. Give him the touchdown chance. And the young man from UCLA has his first professional score. Joe Nedney, the try for point. Good job by Kidd in respotting the ball. And Miami takes a 17-3 lead.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, great blocking up front.
61 yards and 10 plays for Miami. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Watch Chris Gay right here, the right guard. Go up here and make this good block on Ted Johnson. Opens the hole to the end zone for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Jabbar with 57 yards rushing in this opening half. What a debut for him. And a 17-3 lead. Only 35 seconds remain in this first half. Stay with us at halftime. All the scores and highlights from New York of this opening day's action. And the Patriots, a couple of critical fumbles by Shawn Jefferson, denying potential drives.
Well, Shawn Jefferson, when he was with San Diego, he used to catch the ball and just then drop it. Now, with New England, he catches it, then runs with it a little bit, and then drops it. So, he's holding on to it a little bit longer.
One of the reasons why he was waived by San Diego.
Dropped too many passes out there. At least that's what they thought with the organization. And he's catching the ball. You're right, Paul, but showing he's not doing a good job of tucking it away once he catches it and tries to make those runs.
So Troy Brown and Dave Meggett are at the goal line for New England with just seconds remaining in this opening half. Nedney kicks it off. Meggett at the 2. To get just to the 15-yard line. O.J. Briggins made the tackle. The tradition of Notre Dame football returns to NBC Sports, and that'll be in just 2 weeks. Star quarterback Ron Paulus and the Fighting Irish welcome the Boilermakers of Purdue on campus. Notre Dame football on NBC in 2 weeks. The Fighting Irish and the Boilermakers.
Miami Dolphins will get the ball in the second half. They better figure out a way to slow down this running game. I mean, is that unusual to say? Miami?
Yeah. Just going to take a knee, and with less than 30 seconds remaining, both teams eager to get into the air-conditioned locker rooms at the intermission. Jimmy Johnson has opened his era in Miami, and well, at the end of the first act, the fans here give him a standing ovation. It all began with a 70-yard touchdown play early in the game. Lewis Oliver intercepting, fumbled. Shawn Hill finished the 70 yards, the final 10. We'll be sending you to our NFL NBC studios right after these words from your local station. Welcome back to sizzling hot South Florida, the second hottest day for a game in the history of the Dolphins' 30 years, and the heat put on by the running game, and Marino celebrating with Abdul-Jabbar and Jimmy Johnson leading the applause. This is exactly what he wanted this year, a team that could run the ball, and Abdul-Jabbar out rushing the man who led the AFC a season ago, 57 yards to 24 in the first half.
Well, Jimmy Johnson told me in Chicago 3 weeks ago before the game, we're going to run the ball on first down, we're going to run the ball on second down, we're going to run the ball on third down.
Did you believe him then?
No, I didn't. Because the first time it went on, the first play they threw was they ran was a pass play, and so was the second play. So I thought he lied to me then, but he isn't lying now.
I believed him the whole time because I know the reason why he had success in Dallas. He believes that's the way you build a football team. Tough defense. You have to run the football because it really sets the tone for your football team. Attitude, it makes you tough because every day you got to practice against the run. You practice trying to be a better running team, and they showed it here in the first half.
Let's look at the halftime statistics now. That will reflect the rushing strength of Miami and building a 17-3 lead. The Coors Light halftime statistics and passing yards. Marino throwing only 7 times, completing 5 for 48 yards. And of course, 3 big turnovers forced by the Miami defense. 2 fumbles by Shawn Jefferson and an interception of Bledsoe that went for an early 70-yard touchdown. Louis Oliver picked it off, fumbled at the 10. Sean Hill scooped it up on the 1 hop and took it in for the score. That started the game. And Oliver also a fumble recovery. A big first half for him. New England to kick it off. Vinatieri. 17-3 Dolphins. McPhail, the speedy rookie, is the deep man. Fumbles the ball. Picked up by Oliver. Doesn't pick it up. And finally has to fall on it at the 3-yard line. A least save. Total disaster as Miami begins inside its 5-yard line.
Sun was right in McPhail's eyes. He couldn't see the ball. He just lost it. You see it so many times in baseball. You rarely see it in football. Look at it. He just totally lost the football. There's Louis Oliver with his 3rd fumble of the day.
Larry Wiggum was right there for the New England Patriots. They spotted at the 4.
Before we get started, let Dick and I, or Phil and I, say one thing to you. Congratulations. 30 years doing NFL football. Dick Enberg goes back to 1966
wow.
to Los Angeles. 30 years.
That has a nice ring to it.
Yes, it does.
George Allen's first year as coach of the Rams.
Congratulations,
Thank you,
friend.
It's great to be here. Well, 17-3. And Marino from deep in his own end. And he comes out throwing. A little flat pass to Pritchett as fullback, and it gains very little as it was covered well by Dwayne Sabb, the linebacker. Jim Gray.
All right, Dick, I spoke to both coaches. First, Jimmy Johnson, very pleased with his defense, very pleased that they were able to create so many turnovers. Loves the way they're running the football. Look for much more in the second half. Now, as for Bill Parcells, he was very calm. He says, we're beating ourselves. They're not doing much to us. We're just beating ourselves. He told his team very calmly at halftime, we're better than this. Let's act like it. Dick?
All right, Jim. 2nd down and a short 10. Gain of about a foot on that pass by Marino. And Marino to throw again. Wide open. It's Pritchett, the fullback, and he has a first down in New England territory. Willie Clay saves the touchdown.
This play was set up because the Dolphins ran the football so well in the first half. New England has changed its defensive secondary. They had 2 deep all in the first half. Now they only have 1 deep, so that gives the seams and the outside open for Dan Marino. And look at that seam up top. When you run the football successfully in the NFL, that's what it does, creates opportunities. Dan Marino took advantage of it.
Pritchett, the rookie fullback from South Carolina, 52 yards on the play. First down at the 44 of the Patriots. Into the flat. Abdul-Jabbar brought down at the 40-yard line, a gain of 4. So this is interesting. Jimmy Johnson establishes the run rather vigorously, in fact, and the first half comes out and it's all passing.
What did he tell us yesterday? He told us we have to run the ball well because I want them to get out of that certain coverage where I can throw it. New England came out in the second half. They're out of it. He sees it. Let's throw the football.
Second down and 6 for Marino. Sends Scott Miller right. O.J. McDuffie left. The tight end Keith Byers on the left side. Abdul-Jabbar, the running back, and Marino throwing again. Again in the flat to Abdul-Jabbar. Makes a good juggling catch for maybe a yard. Yeah, well, actually a loss of a couple of yards.
Well, New England
Sabb covered it.
I'm sorry, Dick, but New England learned its lesson. It went back to putting those safeties deep and protect against those big passing plays.
Well, let's play out here to Jabbar. I mean, I don't know if he's going to pick up much anyway, but he's gotten a little bit more than this. He juggled the ball. When you do that, the defense now has time. Sabb gets there, and they make the play. You know, that Pritchett play, they had Sabb playing Pritchett for about 12 yards, and after that, there was nobody there.
Well, there's no responsibility right here. That's the problem with that defensive coverage. Who has the people when they go deep in the seams?
Third down and 8 for Marino. 4 wide. To McPhail. And the speedy rookie is to the 20 of first down. Jarris McPhail, the 5th-round pick from East Carolina. Corwin Brown and Larry Wiggum with a tackle.
All McPhail did was juke Collins.
Well, that's what Dan Marino wanted to do. Jarris McPhail against Todd Collins. You're going to see him go right down the middle. There's only one person can cover him. Todd Collins, the linebacker. Dan Marino sees that. The safeties are out of there. A big hole for Dan Marino to throw to.
So the rookies, and that's a dominant factor for the running backs here in Miami. McPhail, Abdul-Jabbar, Pritchett contributing well. Not this time. Abdul-Jabbar smothered, no gain. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar picked in the 3rd round. McPhail and everyone raving about what a great 5th-round selection he is. He beat them all in the training camp, and then Stanley Pritchett, the blocker. He's the Darrell Johnston, if you will, in Dallas. The fullback will block. He can also catch, as Johnston does, and he showed you he's got some speed.
What a draft to pick up those 3 running backs, and already you're seeing the effect. They're playing so well first game of the season.
2nd and 9, Marino off play action, dumps it to Pritchett, and he makes it to the 16-yard line where it'll be 3rd and 5. Monty Brown made the tackle.
You know, the interesting thing about the draft choices of Miami, when I first saw this, it's kind of hard to believe, but 7 out of the 12 make it. But they had 3 picks in the 5th round, and all 3 guys make the football team.
Well, it's Jimmy Johnson's track record has been he just knows the talent of players. He does a good job of evaluating the college talent. And in Dallas, he had a lot of late-round draft picks become very successful. And looks like he might do the same thing here with the Dolphins.
There's Daryl Gardner. He was their #1 pick, the 20th selected overall. 3rd down and 5. Marino ducks the pressure. Throws to Pritchett. Fumbles into the end zone. Recovered by Miami. Scott Miller for a touchdown. Oh, my. Second fumble recovered for a touchdown by Miami today.
But you know, you're not going to believe this. Marino was throwing to Pritchett anyway. And Pritchett comes out, watch him, he falls down. Then he gets back up, Marino just stays with him. Sabb is there and then makes the throw. You talk about hustle as a rookie. Now he gets hit, he fumbled in the end zone, they get the ball back, it's touchdown. But he falls down, Marino stays with him and waits till he gets back up and then hits him. Unbelievable.
Nedney's trying for point. The Dolphins now lead 24-3. Scott Miller gets the score.
Dan Marino has Stanley Pritchett in his eyes as the only receiver on this play. Stanley Pritchett comes out. Watch him at the bottom of your screen. He's going to slip and fall. Dan Marino buys time by moving in the pocket. Pritchett gets out, back up, hustles, gets down to the 1-yard line, fumbles. The Dolphins are hustling. They recover the fumbles.
96-yard drive, and Marino threw only 7 passes the first half. A perfect 7 for 7 on the opening drive of the second half. Ted Johnson, give him credit. He made a big hit to force the fumble, but it popped right into the arms of Scott Miller for the Miami score. Nedney, his kick is short to Meggett at the 8. Meggett has a crease. 30, 40. Nedney trying to slow him down. Misses, and Meggett finally knocked out of bounds at the Miami 38 8-yard line. Another fine return by the veteran Dave Meggett. The Patriots need something. Dolphins in command 24-3, but Dave Meggett provides some spark for New England. A kickoff return all the way to the Miami 38-yard line. Ben Coates has caught just 2 balls. Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots pretty much need a score in this possession. And he goes on top to Jefferson. It was out of bounds anyway. A reminder, Third Rock from the Sun has started its 3-week countdown to the season premiere.
Yeah, but look who's on beyond there, though. The NBA superstar Dennis Rodman. You got to watch this. I mean, he joins the aliens because he is an alien, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's going against out-of-this-world battle against
Evil Dick.
Yeah, the truth. Yeah, the truth be known. It's the 1-hour season premiere. Third Rock from the Sun, 3 weeks from tonight here on NBC.
Yeah, not a big stretch for Dennis Rodman.
Very good. 2nd and 10 for Bledsoe. He can't find an open target, and he's smothered by Daryl Gardner. The #1 draft pick of the Dolphins gets a sack.
Well, Drew Bledsoe's looking down the middle of the field, and one thing about Jimmy Johnson defenses, on 1st and 2nd down, look at the receivers down the field. You will see nobody open. Drew Bledsoe's looking down the middle. Stop it right there. Look at this right here. They're right on it. There's Ben Coates in the middle field. Nobody is open. You must throw the ball outside the hashes on 1st and 2nd down against this defense.
Loss of 7, 3rd and 17. Good protection. And he drills it to Will Moore. Moore's first catch of the day, right at the sticks. It'll be close to a 1st down. J.B. Brown, the tackler, along with Zach Thomas, who drifted back from middle linebacker.
And well, if they don't make it, I guarantee you this is 4-down situation, because you're down by a lot of 21 points, and you better put some points on the board.
Well, come on, One Eye. Did he make it or not?
Well, I can't see the ball. You got to let me see the ball first of all. No, he didn't make it.
He's short.
He's almost a yard short. Did he make it? Give me a hard one.
All right, here it comes.
4th down and less than a yard for New England. Fake to Martin. Wide open is Coates. Ben Coates barrels to the goal line. Touchdown. Heat exhaustion or not, Big Ben Coates shows you why he is the most feared tight end in the AFC.
Yeah, a little play action here, though.
Well, and the Miami safeties just get completely fooled right there. They came up expecting to run. Lewis Oliver, we saw him earlier, attack the line of scrimmage in a running situation. Here he played run all the way. Nobody back to cover Ben Coates.
Adam Vinatieri with a try for point. And the rookie from South Dakota State knocks it through, and with 7:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter, the Patriots on a 29-yard touchdown. Bledsoe to Coates cut the Miami lead. Now the Patriots get a score when they needed one desperately, set up by Dave Meggett's 54-yard kickoff return. And now Vinatieri sends a long high kick to Juris McPhail. It again as he did the last time, and he has to pay the penalty inside the 5. So McPhail twice having trouble fielding the kickoff. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Watch Lewis Oliver, the strong safety, on the play action fake. He's just too aggressive coming up to the line of scrimmage, trying to stop the run, and Ben Coates walks right by him, and Drew Bledsoe does an excellent job of throwing it out there nice and soft where Ben Coates can catch it and score the touchdown.
Okay, that's great hustle by Coates, though, to get in the end zone. But McPhail, Dick, I mean, you're looking at really some rookie mistakes now. The one time he did lose the ball in the sun, that time he tried to run before he got the ball. You got to wait till you get it.
He won't be back there next week.
Marino 7 for 7 on the last drive that started inside the 5. Begins at the 5 this time. And it's Abdul-Jabbar, a loss of a yard. Devin Wyman, the rookie from Kentucky State. What an impressive physical specimen he is. 6'7" and 307. Played only 1 year at Kentucky State.
How'd he get there, Dick?
He's from East Palo Alto, California, and his mother said after junior college, I got an airplane ride for you to Kentucky State. He said it was a one-way ticket.
His mother bought it. Isn't that great?
That is great.
They feel they made a steal here. He is a 6th-round selection by the Patriots. Hit by Willie McGinnis, says Abdul-Jabbar gets it out to the 6-yard line where it'll be 3rd down and 9. They're using those misters to try to cool off the Patriots, and if you're just joining us, the temperature well over 100 degrees. It is just a blistering hot late afternoon in South Florida.
And it does look like the New England Patriots have caught their second wind. They've gotten a little used to the heat. They got some fluids in them at halftime, and they look like they have a little more energy here in the second half.
Well, they'd like to stop Marino and get the ball in good field position as Marino goes to the shotgun, 3rd and 9. Receivers. Oh, no. And the rookie Wyman makes the mistake. Right open McDuffie. And O.J. McDuffie a 1st down at the 29.
Actually, Wyman makes 2 mistakes. He makes 2 mistakes. The first one is when he goes offside. The second one, he didn't continue.
Offsides, number 72 of the defense. Penalty is declined.
All right, watch
1st
Devin.
down.
But watch Devin out. Now he's offside. Now watch what he does. He really doesn't put any pressure on him. Sims has got him. He's right there at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't get his hands up.
And look at O.J. McDuffie going across the middle. 2 safeties back there, but it doesn't matter. Dan Marino, best pass of the day from him right there.
McDuffie, who caught 62 last year. They feel he could catch 80 or 90 this season. Bernie Parmalee, the veteran, out to the 33-yard line, a gain of 5 on 1st down. Parmalee with knee surgery in the offseason after a solid year rushing the ball. He gained 878 yards a year ago. Parmalee, his first 2 seasons barely used. He was a special teamer, and then the last 2 years almost matching seasons, just under 900 yards. He's 196 pounds, a 28-year-old from Ball State. Marino spends a timeout. And Miami with 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Dolphins with a 2-touchdown lead. Back in Miami, we're talking about the running game and the variety of young backs. That's Irving Spikes, who was penciled in as the starter, but has a hamstring late this week and obviously not in uniform. He's another part of the new run offense look of Jimmy Johnson. The catch by tight end Keith Byers for little or no gain as Terry Ray all over Byers.
Don't you like what Jimmy Johnson said, though, about Spikes? He said he had a twinge. I mean, he could possibly have played, but he said if he can't give us 100%, we can't use him. I mean, I really like the attitude. I mean, he wants healthy people.
Well, a running back that has a little problem with his leg is useless because, you know, their legs are everything, of course, and there's no use with all the good young running backs he has here. You're right, Paul. If you're not 100%, don't even suit up.
But I bet you he gets well early.
It's McPhail in the backfield with Marino on 3rd down and a long 3. Over the middle, wide open is Miller. 1st down at the 42. Willie Clay made the hit. Scott Miller, who played at UCLA, the 1st down.
Scott Miller comes underneath. Everybody's looking at O.J. McDuffie because they know that he's going to throw the ball to O.J. McDuffie, and Miller just comes up underneath, and really no one there to pick him up.
4 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dolphins' last 2 possessions have started at the 5 or inside their own 5. And Marino drove them 96 yards for a touchdown the last possession, and he's got him out of trouble now here on this one. Incomplete to Byers, covered by Terry Ray. Well, Miami, since Marino's been here, have never had a 1,000-yard rusher. It's been Marino's arm. That's been the hope at the start of each year. While the other top quarterbacks, Kelly's had 7, Elway 5, Aikman with Emmitt Smith, of course, Warren Moon, they've all had a 1,000-yard rusher, but not Dan Marino. So what would this team be like should the magical Marino have that kind of running game?
Well, a lot of it's Dan Marino's fault for being so good. I mean, why run it when you have him at quarterback? And that's one of the reasons they didn't have such a running game.
2nd and 10, and it's Parmalee protecting the ball to the 49, a gain of 7. 3rd down and 3, Miami. Willie McGinnis dragging down the ball carrier. That's the most years without a 1,000-yard running back in the NFL in the current string. Wow, that's an amazing number.
I'm amazed. I tell you, you'd think you'd luck into one somewhere down the road, but it says a lot of things. It tells you they haven't been patient enough with their running game, but also it makes games longer when you throw it. Your defense wears down. That's why the Dolphins have lost so many games these past years in the second half of them when they were leading.
Jabbar and Parmalee sharing the top duties today, and this is McPhail, who is unable to make the first down, and the flag goes down. And as they go the flag, just in case you're wondering, the last rusher for 1,000+ for Miami was Delvin Williams against the Dolphins, undoubtedly to be declined by New England. There he is, Delvin Williams, and the great Larry Zonka and Mercury Morris are the only 3 ball carriers in Miami's 30 years to rush for 1,000 or more. Boy, Zonka, just the very name conjures up images of just plowing for another first down. John Kidd to punt. Meggett, who has returned 6 punts for touchdowns since he left Towson State to go to the New York Giants and New England. Back at the 10. Low liner. Meggett at the 12. Gets a block. At the 20. Look at the speed of that tackle. 41-yard punt, 9 on the return. Frank Wainwright, a tight end, the tackler. Come back to South Florida. That's Curtis Martin, who had many big games last year. The last 5 of the season for over 100 yards. He rolled up 142 against Miami in one of those games, and today held to 2.4 per rush.
You gotta like what Bill Parcells said to Curtis Martin the first day ever he walked down into a practice field with the New England Patriots. He said, "Hey Martin, are you coming out here with football cleats or high heels? Because I don't want a tippy-toe runner." So Curtis came out with cleats on.
Bledsoe with his team down by 2 touchdowns throws to Wilmore, and it's ruled a catch at the 31-yard line. A gain of about 10. We'll see if it's enough for a first down.
This is just an outstanding catch if it is enough, and if he does in fact stay in bounds. Most important thing, does he have control of the ball? Watch his hands. He's got the ball. He touches. The official is right there. Excellent. I think that's an excellent call. Both feet down. They touch. He's in. They're right there. They called this one right.
Morrow played 3 years in the Canadian League with Calgary before coming to New England a season ago. Now Martin dragged down in the backfield by Tim Bowens. Bowens, the big #1 pick of the Dolphins a couple of years ago out of Mississippi.
Now let me, Jim Gray said that Parcells was very calm in the locker room. Now, he said they're not doing anything to us. Take a look at this play with Bowens. Yes, they are. They're knocking them off the line of scrimmage, and they're creating havoc in the backfield for New England. They can't run the football.
Parcells checks the clock. 1.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 11 for Bledsoe, and down he goes. Number 23 shooting through. Robert Bailey, an extra defensive back, along with Daniel Stubbs. The 3rd sack for Miami today.
Stubbs, Empman, Bailey.
Daniel Stubbs, who was drafted by San Francisco out of the University of Miami, Florida, as a 2nd-round pick 8 years ago.
You could see Robert Bailey coming from the top of the screen. Nobody could account for him. That's why he got to the quarterback so fast and got the sack.
3rd and 19. Underneath the Coates. Get up some of the yardage to the 30, but 4th down and about 11, and the punting team on. Zach Thomas made the tackle. And the fans cheer the defense.
Well, it was a simple blitz right there, and New England had the wrong pass play called because one blitzer comes, they can't pick him up, and Ben Coates has to adjust his route for just a short gain.
O.J. McDuffie drifts back as Tom Tupa into punt. Only the second punt today for New England. Dying spiral. McDuffie at the 26. And hit down at the 33-yard line. Tackled by Larry Wiggum. 44-yard punt, 8 on the return. A reminder, next Saturday at 4:30, you football fans will want to be aboard NBC Sports World to find out who is the most versatile back in the NFL. Who's the fastest man in the NFL? NFL Run to Daylight. You'll see some of the game's top running backs. You'll see Curtis Martin, Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas, and others compete. It's a series of events. Test speed, strength, agility, pass catching ability. That's NFL Run to Daylight next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on NBC.
I was there, you know.
Well, don't tell us.
No, I'm not going to tell you. I had to demonstrate all the moves for everybody, though.
Yeah, right.
I did.
First down at the 34 for Miami. Final minute of the third quarter. Abdul-Jabbar breaking a tackle. Makes something out of nothing. Gains 5. That's probably the final play of the third quarter. Chris Slade made the stop for New England. So 3 quarters in the book here in South Florida. Miami leading 24-10. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Welcome back. We open the fourth quarter with Miami in the lead, 24-10. They started the scoring with a 70-yard touchdown interception fumble. 2nd and 5 for the Dolphins as Marino hands off to Abdul-Jabbar, short yardage. Let's take a look at Miami the last few years and how they have performed by month. This is the last 4 years, September, October, very solid. But in the last 2 months of the year, playing under 500 ball. What does that tell you, Phil?
Well, it tells me everything we've been talking about today. The running game, the defense stays on the field way too long in most of their games. And when it gets down, when they're ahead, like we said, late in the game, fourth quarter, they can't sustain by running, keeping the other team off the field, so they lose.
So Jimmy Johnson says we're going to run the ball, and they have been very effective today. 3rd down and short. The throw to Miller, incomplete. Almost a tough catch for Scott Miller, covered by Ty Law, and the Dolphins will have to punt.
One other point, though, we came down here after the Miami Dolphins last year. They were 5-0, and they were playing Indianapolis. Had them at 24-3 at halftime, Dick. And the problem is they could not run the football at all in that ball game.
You're right. Couldn't
Indianapolis
get a first down.
Colts come back, win it in overtime, and beat him. And then they just went on that slide.
Costly in many ways, including the head coach's job. John Kidd. Beautiful spiral. Megan at the 12. Out of bounds he goes. 14 minutes and some change remain. New England down by 2 scores. Back in Miami where the Dolphins lead 24-10. Bledsoe from his own 14 goes to the out, and a broken tackle as number 81 Hassan Graham skips down the sidelines to the 37 before Lewis Oliver can make the stop. 23-yard play.
Well, the weakness of this Miami Dolphin defense on first down, these outcuts, Hassan Graham doing an excellent job there, and Terrell Buckley being a little over-aggressive, must make that tackle right there after the 10-yard catch.
Did you hear Ditka in the pregame show? Said, WRI, if Terrell Buckley can tackle. That's what he said.
Bledsoe underneath to this side, and another catch by Graham right at the sticks. They're going to rule him out of bounds at the 46-yard line, a yard shy of a first down. So Graham back-to-back catches, the former Georgia star.
And you see right there again, J.B. Brown slipping and falling, but wide open, and even Hassan Graham trying to turn up the field, slipping to the field. Even though it's dry right here, it rained last night, it's very hard, but the top layer is a little moist. That's why you see so many players slipping.
Wrong cleats.
Bledsoe 6 for 7 in the second half after throwing a 50% first half. Reverse to Jefferson. Jefferson's speed gets him down, and he fumbles again, but it goes out of bounds. He's ruled down, and he may be ruled out. He hasn't moved. He was smothered. What a hit on Shawn Jefferson by Zach Thomas.
You can understand why he would fumble that time.
Yeah,
that hit.
But I'm going to tell you something. I mean, if you're going to run the reverse, why this guy? I mean, he's fumbled twice, and now he's fumbled for the third time. I know the hit is there by Zach Thomas. Number 54. Here comes the hit.
Oh,
I mean, that's shoulder to shoulder. He goes down, the ball comes out. That is a fumble.
He's out on the way down. It looks like Shawn Jefferson on the way down has already been. Oh, it's helmet to helmet right there.
I mean, that's just a great play by Zach Thomas. I mean, this guy, the one thing that Jimmy Johnson told us about him is watch this. Watch 54 come in and just level Jefferson. But the thing about Zach Thomas, he says he's going to make mistakes, but he's going to be where the ball is. He may miss a tackle or two. He didn't miss this one.
Timeout.
Watch Shawn Jefferson's head. Just watch what happens when Zach Thomas hits him. And I think Phil's right. He was out on the way down. Watch his head. Go back and away, and the ball's just coming out. That is not a fumble. But, I mean, he was just that helmet to ear hole. Here it comes. And his head just snaps. That is a solid hit.
Had it been ruled a fumble, Gene Atkins knocked it out of bounds, so it would have remained in New England's possession, and now they will take all precautions, using a stretcher to take Jefferson off the field. But he has been moving his feet, his arms, and his head, so that's all good news. Well, that's why they call it a contact game. I mean, that was just a linebacker zeroing in to make a tackle. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, Dick. Well, they've taken his helmet off. They did not unsnap it. They unscrewed his helmet off. He is moving his arms and his legs. He's also moving his chest and seemed to have moved his neck. And it seems like the physicians, as well as the trainers down here, have told him to stay down as a precaution. However, it does seem as though he's moving all of his limbs quite freely. Dick?
Well, that's good news, Jim. Boy, that's such a difference from even when you broke in as a rookie, Phil, where oftentimes they just drag a guy off the field and not take this kind of precaution. I mean,
well, you're right there, Dick, and also it was a different game back then too. I mean, doesn't seem that long ago, but these guys, Zach Thomas, you know, he runs with the speed of that used to be a corner in the NFL, so the collisions are just going to be more violent, and that's one of the reasons why you have more injuries nowadays.
I just can't believe that as big as this. I mean, he's only 5'11", he's 230 some, and the range that he has. All right, we're going to see this in real speed. Watch this.
Wow, you could hear the hit from all the way up here. You could hear the microphone on the sideline picking it up.
Yeah, well, we wait for them to attend to Shawn Jefferson and very carefully get him on the stretcher. Give us a chance to run down all the scores in case you've missed them earlier. Ravens first game a success against the Raiders. Raiders then will play Kansas City next week. We'll be at Arrowhead. Jacksonville not only beating Pittsburgh, but the Steelers were just a horrendous loss. Greg Lloyd apparently out for the year with a knee injury. Indianapolis picking up where they left off after a sensational finish a year ago. Kansas City barely at Houston. The Oilers played them tough. Philadelphia in a real struggle managed a 3-point win at Washington. The Rams home opener a success against the Bengals. And Minnesota and Detroit. What is it about the Lions? They just wait to win later in the year.
Yeah, I guess so. The cardiac Lions, you call them.
And Carolina impressive.
Well, that really is, to me, is a surprise. I mean, Carolina, there's no such thing as an expansion team anymore because they get enough players. But beating Atlanta, holding them to 6 points.
If you watch Carolina, you can see why they could upset teams. Their defense is just different.
Broncos having a a birthday party of their own out there at Mile High.
Wow. That's my dark horse pick of the year, those Broncos. Their defense is going to be a lot better. They're going to, and we know they're going to score points.
Chargers at home with a 9-point lead against the Seahawks. And San Francisco muscled up early against the Saints. Green Bay, there's a team getting a lot of touts for the Super Bowl. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, Dick, we've been told now by a representative of the National Football League and by the Patriots that right now preliminarily it has been described to us as a fractured collarbone. They fear no paralysis. They fear none of those things. He is moving quite freely. Right now they're saying in all probability it's a fractured collarbone. Dick?
Well, of all the broken bones, as you know, with little children, that's one of the more common and one of the least serious. Let's hope that that initial diagnosis is correct. And we'll take another break here with a 24-10 in the fourth. Shawn Jefferson's left arm, left hand reaching for the attendant. That's in his own way, as a signal for his family at home to know that he's got, strength in that arm and that it isn't serious. That's perhaps his way of communicating to his loved ones watching. Back to the action. First down. New England trailing 24-10 from the 48 of Miami. Bledsoe out of the backfield. Sam Cash gets a rare chance. The fullback, primarily a blocker out of Penn State, close to a first down, and does have it inside the 38-yard line. Thomas another tackle along with Gene Atkins.
I saw Ben Coates go in motion, a little spring in his leg. Something like this inspires the team to go on. If you remember after the touchdown with Ben Coates, when we showed Parcells, he put one finger up like this is the first touchdown. We need two more.
Plenty of time. Over 12 minutes remain. First down Patriots. Thomas on the blitz. They pick it up. And it forces Bledsoe to throw high and long. Troy Brown on the near sidelines, the target, covered by J.B. Brown.
Well, the Miami defense tired of seeing these passes to the outside on first and second down, so they change it up. They send the blitz, put some pressure on Drew Bledsoe. He has to unload a little before he's ready. Incomplete pass.
Cash doing a good job of picking up the blitzing linebacker. Jimmy Johnson's debut in the NFL with Miami. His team leads 24-10. 12 minutes left. Bledsoe lofts it high for Coates. Terrible pass, intercepted out of bounds by Oliver.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you hit that one on the head. I mean, you talk about a terrible pass. I mean, that was awful. There was no chance for Coates to get it. Louis Oliver is just trying to hold on to the ball. Now, he wasn't trying to throw that away.
No, he was not, and it's just offline by about 10 yards, because if he throws it to the inside, it might be a touchdown. Louis Oliver was outside, kind of fooled on the play, and Drew Bledsoe just bad judgment where to throw the football.
3rd and 10 from the Miami 37. Blitz. He hits Meggett, but shy of a first down at the Miami 29. So Bill Parcells trailing by 14, doesn't have much of a choice here. 4th down and about 2. Trailing by a 24-10 score.
Well, they're going to go for it.
If there's a bright spot, it's Meggett. I mean, his guy does everything. Every time we ever see these guys with Meggett, when he was with the Giants and with New England, this guy does everything for you.
Jimmy Johnson sends in 2 linebackers and takes out 2 defensive backs.
I say they blitz it.
Timeout. Bledsoe. An interesting, and most of the times 4th and 2 you send in heavier linemen. Johnson goes to linebackers. We'll be back. Critical spot in this game with New England trailing by 2 touchdowns. A 4th down and 2 at the 29. Coates in motion. Bledsoe can't complete it. No one there. Zach Thomas applied the pressure up the middle linebacker, and this rookie from Texas Tech, picked in the 5th round, has been brilliant on his 23rd birthday.
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, when you look at Zach Thomas here, the blitz is on, and there is just no place to go. They sent too many people out, and not enough people stayed home. Nobody even blocked Zach Thomas, and Drew Bledsoe throws it away. But let me ask you something. Both of you guys, when was the last time you saw the Miami defense play this well?
Probably never. No, I mean that. I mean, because it's a different defense. The attitude, the coaching is a little different.
You're saying never, meaning the last 10 years or so.
As long as I've been following it, I've never seen it play probably this sound and give you a few different looks, but the base defense they're playing today, it might be the best I've seen it.
And some of the folks here would say, well, the Killer Bees defense in the early 80s, and of course going back to the glory years in the 70s and the perfect season. But in recent memory, certainly this has been Jimmy Johnson has shown why he's so highly regarded as a coach. He's made this team. Many felt that Johnson was going to get his head handed to him here.
Well, he said, my defense, he's told a lot of people, my defense is going to fool this league because we're going to do a little better than people expect.
They've held New England to 195 yards today. Marino to McDuffie and a flag. Ty Law just a little premature in his contact.
I don't know if it's just me up here, Phil, but when I look at Marino sometimes and he makes that throw, when he sees that defensive guy so close to his receiver, he seems to pick out the guy. I mean, it's almost like an instinct.
On the defense, the cornerback. First down.
That he knows he's going to get a pass interference call. And it just seems that way because O.J. McDuffie was covered.
Yeah, he's grabbing his arm before the ball's there.
Marino knows. I'm telling you, he knows. He knows.
Of course he does. A lot of times you don't get that call, but that time he did.
First down at the 35 for Miami with 10.5 minutes remaining. 24-10 the score. Look at that. He almost submarined that pass. Complete to Stanley Pritchett, the rookie fullback. He has thrown 3/4 sidearm, and now he's going on. He's doing an Eldon Walker down here.
Well, I'll tell you, hey, as a quarterback in the National Football League, you're going to have to make up ways to throw it sometimes. And right there, Dan doing the old sidearm. You're right, almost a submarine.
Well, he saw Slade coming, and he knew he was going to get hit. But he said, well, almost got me. You know the thing about this? See, this is what we're talking about, the run game earlier. Now, you can run early in the ball game, but now when you need to run and control the clock, this is when they have to work on their running game.
75% hits for Marino. Here's Jabbar. Breaking tackles to the 48 of New England.
That's what I'm talking about. This is when you have to be able to run the ball, Phil, at this point in the game. 9.5 minutes to go. You've got a 14-point lead, and you've got to control the ball and the clock. And watch this blocking. There's Pritchett again coming out, making an outstanding block, and then Abdul-Jabbar on his feet, making the run to pick up the first down. Keeps the clock going, keeps the ball moving.
And you see where they ran that football to the left side, and Jimmy said we got to have success on the left side of the offensive line today. They've had it.
79 yards now for the rookie Abdul-Jabbar. It's Jabbar again for about 5 to the 42-yard line. Devin Wyman and Monty Brown, the tacklers.
Well, Paul, you say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, that one goes out because this offensive line, which has never been noted to be physical, is showing us today after a training camp, a preseason, they don't mind getting in there and just butting a few heads.
Well, every time we ask an offensive lineman, and I know Phil always looks at me, would you rather run block or pass block? Dick, what do they say?
They always say run block.
Bet.
Because they're the aggressor then, instead of taking the punishment, falling back to protect the passer.
That's the point.
Jabbar, as they wear down the New England defense, another first down Miami.
There's one thing they got to work on, though. This is new to them, running the football. Dan Marino getting this late in the game.
Abdul-Jabbar is going to come out. Parmalee replaces him, and the fans on the near side give him a hand, and they're standing, some of them. 97 yards rushing for the rookie from UCLA.
I'm not kidding you. When I saw Jimmy Johnson in Chicago, he said, I don't know anything about this guy. I mean, he looks good on one play, then he gets hurt, and he goes and sits on the sidelines. Even Marino told us that.
Now it's Parmalee, the veteran, and it's as if the Patriots were waiting for Parmalee to come in to punish him as Wyman and others make the stop.
And I'm not knocking this guy, and Jimmy wasn't either. He said, I just don't know what he's going to do. He makes a super play, and then he goes on the sidelines, and he's got a nick here, a nick there, and he said, but then I guess the last couple of games he came on and in practice, and Marino said, we know he can run.
He's had a pretty good high school team, Paul, at Dorsey High in L.A. Shawn Jefferson, the #1 pick from the Jets, and this guy on the same team. That's a bit unfair.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they didn't win a game.
Yeah, I'll bet.
They did.
Yeah, by less than 40.
Second down and close to 15 as Marino throws it away. Closest was Ricky Reynolds, the cornerback. Theo Songapulatelli was in there to apply pressure.
I think actually old Devin Wyman knocked the ball down. But when he walked in the room, all the lights went out. I mean, that guy is huge.
Yes, he is.
There he is, 6'7" and 307. He's got a waist about 38. He looks like he could carry a lot more. A little saggy now, but when we saw him, it was air conditioned and cool.
That's right.
A little saggy.
3rd and 15. And whistle before the snap. That usually means offense for 5, and James Brown
Before the
moving.
snap, ball start. Number 76, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
See, and you know, we talked about how they're moving the ball and how they do things, but here they are. You know, there's still almost 7 minutes to play, Phil, and they're now down into a 3rd and 20 situation.
But Paul, the big thing is, even if they don't score in this drive, they ate up a lot of time, got some good first downs. The running game did it. So they've accomplished a lot right for the Miami team right here in this drive.
4.5 minutes so far in the drive. And yet, if you're a New England fan, you can play what if. You know, the score may be a bit misleading. 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and we're bounced right back to Miami, both for touchdowns. Marino from the blind side. That could be ruled a fumble. No, now they're saying incomplete. His arm was going forward, and Marino just happy all the limbs are in the same place.
But, Dick, my big point is, what if? Well, Miami had something to do with those turnovers. So, and McGinnis had trouble getting in and getting pressure on Dan Marino all day that time, just showing his speed and quickness and beating Richmond Webb. And that's the first time today he's had a chance to hit Dan Marino.
John Kidd in to punt. Just try to pooch one as Meggett stands inside the 10. Meggett fair catch at the 9-yard line. Flag is down. Back at the line of scrimmage.
Against Miami.
Holding. Number 53 of the kicking team. 10 yards. Repeat, 4th down.
Larry Izzo, the free agent rookie from Rice, who was the 2nd man to make the team holding as New England put on a punt block, and he made sure that it didn't happen, but held in the process.
Let me guess who the first guy was that made the team.
I think it might have been that number 13. Jimmy Johnson said, hey, a couple of weeks to go, let's end all doubt. One guy's made the team, Marino. And a week later, he said, Izzo, where do you live? He said, Houston. Call your parents. You're the 2nd guy, because he loved the way he plays on special teams.
That's right.
Is that a thrill?
Oh, you know, that just fired everybody up the team, I'm sure, to hear you get rewarded for working hard.
Psychologist. And Meggett lets it go into the end zone, and so the penalty is worth about 11 yards as New England will take over at the 20 when we return.
Welcome back to Miami. I'm Jim Gray. Well, on this play, Shawn Jefferson was hurt. Initially, the Patriots told us it was a problem with his collarbone, possibly a fractured collarbone. The Patriots are now changing that diagnosis. They say he has a concussion, he's in the locker room for observation, and he will not return. Dick?
All right, Jim. New England trailing 24-10, 6.5 minutes remaining from the 20-yard line. Bledsoe underneath for the tight end coach, but only 5 on the play as Thomas makes still another tackle, his 9th of the game. What a debut for him.
Hurry up offense.
2nd and 5. Make it 2nd and 4 as they spotted it at the 26. Bledsoe to Coates again. And the big tight end has 10 more and a first down. Gene Atkins and Shawn Hill combine on the tackle.
Phil, are these pre-called plays because all Bledsoe did was walk up the line and said, go?
No, you see him right now? He's telling them. He's yelling at the numbers. The system is pretty simple for the Patriots. 2 numbers will tell everybody what to do.
6 catches for Coates in the game and a touchdown.
Oh, he caught him.
Screen to Meggett, and it's incomplete. You were saying they caught him because the defense, it was the perfect call for the blitz.
That play. That's right. They're sending blitzers right here. Watch Shawn Hill be coming there, and they let the defensive lineman come in. They got the perfect call on the screen against it. Look, Miami only has 2 people reacting to it. And Meggett drops the ball. A little outside, but if Dave Meggett usually gets his hands on it, somehow he usually catches it.
2nd and 10 with 5.5 minutes left. New England trails by 14, and way outside as Troy Brown is the intended receiver. Bledsoe under pressure.
Do you know what's amazing about a screen pass that I can never understand with offensive linemen? Why are they looking at the quarterback, and why are they looking at the receiver, and why aren't they faced upfield to make a block? I mean, that time to make it drops the ball, but they're all looking back at the quarterback.
3rd down and 10. 1 for 8 are the Patriots on 3rd down today. Bledsoe guns it, complete. And John Burke, the tight end, has a first down at the 45 of the Dolphins. 19 on the play.
Excellent job of the New England Patriots picking up the blitz, and there we saw Drew Bledsoe, something we didn't see last year.
That's right.
Moving in the pocket, bought himself some times.
And he really threw that was a rifle shot.
That he can do.
Throws this one long. Almost intercepted by Oliver, intended for Will Moore. And a flag down at the 32-yard line where Zach Thomas made contact with Hassan Graham.
Yeah, well, Hassan Graham was on the ground. That's called contact, too.
Illegal contact, number 23 of the defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Well, Robert Bailey says, who, me?
Yeah, Robert Bailey hit the receiver coming at him. He's 10 yards down the field, and he basically just, boom, comes up, fires into him, knocks him on the ground. That's a penalty.
That gives stops the clock at 5:02.
I think Lewis Oliver's touched the ball from Bledsoe more than his receivers have.
Well, Lewis has got to wear some sticky gloves because he can't catch it. He's dropped 2 sure interceptions. Did get 1, but he's dropped 2 today.
One that led to the opening touchdown of the game, a 70-yard play. On first down, Bledsoe, a little too tall for Hassan Graham.
What do I like what the defensive line just did? They were almost offside, and Aaron Jones, which Miami has the luxury of doing. They have 7 defensive linemen, and they've been able to use them all. And what these guys did, they were almost offside. No, but watch what they do. No, watch them slide. They slide down the line. He gets back onside. What are you looking at me? He got back onside.
I think he was offsides.
Yeah, well, you're not throwing the flag. If you had a flag, you could throw it up here.
All right, that's a good comeback. Get away.
Just under 5 minutes remain. New England trying to scramble for a score, and he has to throw this one away.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. They're trying to run a screen, and Meggett can't get out. Bowens just knocked him down and held him on the ground. They threw a flag, but Tim Bowens is holding Meggett.
That's a bit unfair. They're different weight classes, that's for sure.
I would think so. Now watch number 95. Here's Meggett. He's trying to get out. 22. Watch this here. Is this?
Oh man.
That's a body slam.
That's a semi on a
on a Volkswagen.
No chance there.
Oh man.
Tim is 310 plus, and Jimmy Johnson said that he just got tired and fell on that other guy. First down on the 5-yard penalty to the 35.
That was a big play because that was third. It could have been 3rd and 10 coming up.
Patriots have 2 timeouts left. 4 minutes, 49 seconds remain. So a touchdown here, and New England will have some hopes alive. Bledsoe goes deep. Intercepted on the deflection by Terrell Buckley. The pass intended for Troy Brown. Gene Atkins deflected it, and Buckley, who had 3 interceptions in the preseason, gets his first of the year.
Well, what impressed me on that play right there, and it has all day long, is the pressure they put on Drew Bledsoe. But there you can see Brown getting behind the defense. Good job by Gene Atkins, the safety, getting over there, and Terrell Buckley in the right spot. But here's what I think caused the whole problem for Drew Bledsoe. They're just pushing the pocket. Nobody's getting free. Look at that. Pushing, and then Tim Bowens finally gets free to get in there and makes Drew Bledsoe throw it before he's ready.
Oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Marino back on offense. Jabbar just needs a couple of yards to hit the century mark in his debut. 98 yards today. That would be a pleasant story for him. He's outside. He's got 2. He's got 4. And goes over the century mark. Ricky Reynolds makes the tackle.
I'll tell you, they should put that up on the scoreboard because this place would go crazy. And it's been
They did.
That's right. It's been a long time since they've had a 100-yard rusher in one game. And I mean, it's really a nice thing to see. This young man has played very well today. Of course, the offensive line has blocked extremely well.
Well, that and really all the rookies for the Miami Dolphins that were in this game all stepped up and had good, solid football games, and that's the reason why they're leading.
4 turnovers have haunted the New England Patriots, and Marino and Miami taking advantage, and Jabbar squirts to a first down at the 31, and at the risk of belaboring the point, this is what Miami didn't have for many years, a running game that could run out a clock with a lead. Monty Brown makes the stop. A reminder tonight, Dateline Sunday, the president's top political advisor caught in a scandal. Why did this story surface when it did? And just what's in those red-hot home movies? Watch Dateline NBC following this game on most NBC stations. To be seen at its regularly scheduled time out on the West Coast. First down for Marino. The clock continues to run. And so does Jabbar, as he gains 5 more.
Phil, I'm going to tell you, when after this game, I would love to have a conversation with Marino. He's going to love what happened in this ball game. I mean, this is the type of ball game that he likes. I mean, he does not, in many records he's broken, it's not important for him to come out here and throw for 400 yards. It's important for them to win #1, then control the football, and that's what they can do.
Oh, I think you can appreciate it more now late in his career, but the big thing it does too, it also takes away the wear and tear on Dan Marino. He can still be fresh as this year goes along. This running game is only going to help him.
Bernie Parmalee replaces Jabbar. He stopped 2 yards shy of a first down. You saw Jabbar come out with 115 yards rushing today as the clock ticks down toward the 2-minute warning. And timeout call by New England. They have 1 remaining. Curtis Martin, who going back to last year rushed for 100 yards 5 consecutive games, only 23 yards today, and Abdul-Jabbar not only over the century mark but a solid average 4.4.
That's what's impressive. When you look at the numbers, and you know, a lot of times they're inflated, but you look at Jabbar's numbers, 4.4 yards every time he touches the ball on the average. Now, all you got to do is give it to him 3 times.
And here's the other statistic that underlines the game story for those just joining in. Jabbar carried the ball 26 times. Marino threw the ball 21 times.
Wow. You know what was surprising? And I looked at Phil's face yesterday. We were talking to Marino, and he said, I've never had a problem with my arm. Yeah, my arm has always been strong. Even as many balls as he's thrown, he's broken every record there is to break.
Well, this year he'll go over 4,000 completions and over 50,000 yards. First man, and probably next year he'll hit his 400th touchdown pass. But a running game today.
Checking off to a different run right here.
And it didn't work.
I tried to say earlier, Dick, he's got to learn to, when they get ahead like this, to look at that 25-second clock and run it down to 1 or 2 seconds.
3rd timeout used by New England, so their allotment is now been utilized with 2:09 left and a 4th down coming up. But you can't blame Martin. The Patriots fell behind early 10-0. And the game strategy changed with New England always being behind. Never really close.
You know, we've seen New England, but I really do. You know, this weather down here, you walked out on this field about 11 o'clock this morning and almost fell down.
I tell you what, it was the hottest field I had ever walked on. And of course, I didn't play a lot down here in Miami. We went to the Redskins, to the Dallas Cowboys on AstroTurf and that enclosed place. And this was the hottest surface I ever walked out on as a player.
Well, they've already confirmed in 30 years of play here, this is the second hottest day. This early September date, where the temperature on the field was well over 100. Neggett on the fly. One of his many valiant receptions of a punt to the 34-yard line. That takes it to 1:59. The 2-minute warning. Miami by 14.
To Marty Schottenheimer a couple of days ago, and he said, you know, I said, Houston, there's probably not going to be many people there. He said, Paul, I'm going to tell you, they are a very good football team. Yes. He said, everything we've seen about them, they may be going someplace else, but they're still a good team.
They're young, they're well coached, they run a defense that's hard to really get ready for. They do a lot of blitzing, and Kansas City was lucky to get out of the victory today.
You bet.
Bledsoe looking at the loose defense, protecting against the pass, and it's almost intercepted by Shawn Hill. Well, if Miami closes this out, it'll mean for Jimmy Johnson his 9th straight win going back to his Dallas days. The last time a Jimmy Johnson team lost in the NFL, we were there at Texas Stadium on Thanksgiving Day. The Leon Lett play in the snow that led to defeat to these Miami Dolphins. This would make it 9 in a row for him. Bledsoe's arm appeared to be hit as he released that one, incomplete. At the conclusion of this game, plans are that we'll switch you out to the West Coast for the completion of the Chargers and Seahawks. 29-7 San Diego at the point, and we'll update you as to how San Diego and Bobby Ross and Bobby Beathard's team got started today. Dennis Erickson had those Seahawks flapping their wings at the end of last year, but unable to come up with any significant points today. Bledsoe breaks one tackle, still with a chance. No one open, has to go out of bounds with it. Oh, there could be a penalty there. They really rode him unnecessarily, Robert Bailey, but no flag.
Well, the guy that we're really looking at is Entman, number 94, at the end of the play, because he does get his hands on Bledsoe out of bounds.
4th sack for Miami today.
Watch here. Watch C94 come out. Now he pushes him there, but not enough. Bailey's there. That's a good play. Good call.
It's a tough call.
I'll tell you one thing that Jimmy Johnson will be working on this week, guys, was defensive backs catching a tip drill.
Yeah, that's good. That's right. Because they have dropped a few interceptions.
1:34 left. Batted in the air. And then Bledsoe knocks it down on 4th down, which means Miami takes over on downs. If he'd have caught it, well, maybe not enough room to gain 10 yards anyway.
No, if he'd have caught it, he'd have gotten killed. Yep. So he says, we have 15 more games. Let me just knock this baby down and get out of here.
Yeah, there's a defensive lineman. You're going to see the ball get tipped up in the air. Again, a blitz by the Tim Bowens. Knocks it up in the air. And look if he catches it. Steve Emtman, yes. Wise decision by the quarterback.
There'll be another day.
Well, watching in North Carolina, and I'm sure rooting for the Miami Dolphins, is the immortal Don Shula. 26 years ago, he took over in Miami, and President Nixon was the head of state. Neil Armstrong was walking on the moon, and Woodstock and the Mason Mets and were winning. Lou Alcindor, to beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was at UCLA.
And Paul McGuire was turning 50. Is that right?
But not only that, though, he was averaging 44.5 yards a kick.
Wow, really?
With the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I missed winning the punting championship that year by 1/10 of a yard.
Dennis Partee, I think it was.
Yes. How'd you remember that? You good.
I followed your career closely.
I can't
you
even
swore you would
that.
never lie to me.
2nd down and 11. Final minute, and with no timeouts left for the New England Patriots. A couple of kneel downs, and then we'll be switching you out to San Diego. And of course, as part of that, also a recap of all the scores of this first Sunday in the National Football League. Well, final volleys here for Jimmy Johnson. High grades indeed.
I don't know. Could Jimmy Johnson even expect this team to come out here and play this well today? I thought they would play hard and be organized, but honestly, I thought New England was the better team, but they showed more enthusiasm and they made the plays when they counted.
Abdul-Jabbar, 115 yards rushing to underline Johnson's season game plan. We're going to run it. He did, and he has his first win in Miami. The Dolphins beat the Patriots. And now let's go to San Diego. Jim Lampley, Bob Golick, the Chargers, and the Seahawks at the Murph.